Welcome to the Tattoo Marketing Podcast. On this week's episode, we are doing one of our client chronicles with Terr. She has been getting tattooed for several years now, and if you guys can notice, I am at the Evergreen, so I apologize for the noise. But she has also been one of the people getting tattooed on Inked Vanity. She's had a pretty incredible journey in her tattoo life, has some cool stories, and some good stuff for artists to learn about to help with their clients. Enjoy.
I'm Terr Lane. I go by Inked Van socials. I'm the owner of Inked Vanity Clothing, and I was on season 6 of Ink Master as a 35-hour master canvas. And I am here to talk to you about tattoos. My first tattoo experience that I ever had was in upstate New York when I was 18 years old, without my parents knowing. And it was 14 stars going down my side by a dude named Roach. And yeah, I actually got the 14 stars because I was a huge fan of the Heath Ledger movie A Knight's Tale, and it was all about you can change the stars and become anything you want to be, no matter where you came from or what you're born into or whatever. So that is why I got that.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, Roach. That sounds like a very first time getting tattooed by kind of name. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
for sure.
How'd you find that tattoo artist?
Okay, so he was actually on one of the main roads. I worked at a Wegmans across the street, and Auburn, New York is like a small town, city, whatever. And it was one of the popular shops in town. So I passed it all the time. And my friend and I were like, hey, we want to go get our first tattoos ever. We're still in high school, which is crazy. And I don't know how I hid this from my parents for a month, but I did. And then eventually I was like, hey, like I have this tattoo. They didn't believe me because it was all the way down my whole entire side, 14 stars. But I just wanted to go in and I felt really comfortable in the shop, so I was like, "Okay, this is where I'm gonna get my first tattoo."
Got it. Okay. Okay. Nice. So obviously you've had a different experience than a lot of people getting tattooed being on Ink Mastered. What was that like?
Oh, that was so interesting. So, it's not like getting a conventional tattoo because there's a lot of, like, privacy stuff that you have to abide by, like, when you have a water bottle, it has to have no label on it, stuff like that. It's very strict. So, it's different than just when you go into a normal tattoo shop and you can listen to hardcore music and talk to people and people can walk by you and all of that. We had to be in a private room at the back of Chris Blinsten's shop. Let me just say that my artist was Chris Blinston from season 6, and he's out of Coral Springs, Florida, a No Hard Feelings tattoo. And it was crazy because I was in this back room with all these producers all around me. I had to be pretty silent, but anytime it started hurting really bad, I'm like, Chris, talk to me. Chris, say things. Like I can't do this because it was 5 sessions at 7 hours each. So like 7 hours straight with a clock in front of me and just like all these producers all around, and I couldn't listen to hardcore music. It was crazy. So it was definitely a really fun experience. I loved it because it was like a mini vacation down there. Fort Lauderdale and Coral Springs are right next to each other, and I stayed in Fort Lauderdale, and it was just so gorgeous. I loved it. And Chris is amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting experience for that long getting tattooed with no
Yeah.
music, just sitting there. That sounds kind of terrible, honestly, just focusing on how bad it hurts, I'm sure, after the first couple hours.
Yeah, I was trying to decide, is this my worst or my best tattoo experience? Because it's, like, literally hand in hand with both. Because it's,
Yeah.
like, I loved it. It was a once in a lifetime experience, but at the same time, very painful. And I didn't have any say in what I was getting on my back. It's a giant pinup model on my back. I wore a shirt to be able to show it in a little bit, but it's crazy.
That is interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I would think that was the worst or the best either. Definitely once in a lifetime experience, though.
Yeah.
Definitely cool. So I always like to ask, what has been your before I ask what your best experience was, which it sounds like we know, what is your worst or most awkward experience been with a tattoo shop or artist? You
I
don't have to
actually
name
have
who it
2.
is, but
Yeah, I actually have 2, if I could say.
mhm.
So, one of them was in an actual shop, but the shop was terrifying. It was in Memphis, Tennessee when we were traveling for a year and we were, like, going all across the US, and we were in Memphis for a month, and I was, like, reaching out to shops and stuff. This guy hit me up. I think it was called the Devil's Playground, and I had to go to this old abandoned building that was super tall. No, not a single car in the parking lot except for the shop owner, and the whole building is literally empty offices. It reeks of cigarette smoke. I'm freaking out. It's dark. My husband's back at the hotel with my son. So I'm here by myself. I get all the way to the top. I get in there and I'm like, oh, this is kind of like run down, a little scary here.
Yeah.
And the guy kept actually going into his office to like partake in stuff. And
Uh,
like back to me and taking his time and then coming back. And it was crazy. So he actually did, I don't know if you can really see it, but it's a coffin with a bat wing coming out of it. And then he added some bats another session. That's all I got done. But it was very terrifying. And I just don't think I would ever recommend that type of environment to anybody in the future. But like if they were in another location and whatnot, maybe, but it was scary.
That sounds extremely sketch. Yeah,
Yeah.
understandable. And I think that's one thing a lot of male artists don't understand a lot of the time is because we don't think about it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
granted, going in the back and doing whatever you're doing is probably not a good idea anytime you're with clients. But I've heard that from several females is going into a position that, like, as a guy, you don't really think about would be uncomfortable, but it's just you one on one. It's the middle of the night, and like that's sketchy to a woman, especially if it's the
Yeah.
first time getting tattooed. So
In
um,
a different state also, yes.
yeah, it's that's very understandable, and I think as guys, we don't think about that a lot of the time, so
Yeah.
definitely something to consider. Okay, so what is your second story about that?
And then my other one was a house tattoo. I don't recommend this to anybody. Please go to a professional, reputable shop. I ended up getting very sick, and this is my worst tattoo ever. I don't know if you guys can really see it, but it was supposed to be a vampire lip, like
Oh, yeah.
hurting its lip with blood coming down, and he added a couple extra bats. I think that I had ended up getting cellulitis from it because it was hot to the touch for over a month. I had little red dots around it, and I felt super sick for like literally a year or more. It was bad. Like I was down and out for a while. And unfortunately, this was also right during the COVID time and everything. But the dude had a really good portfolio. I knew people who had been tattooed by him. And so I was like, oh, yeah, like it's okay if you don't have a shop right now. Like I'll come to you as long as you're clean, blah, blah, blah. And obviously, just taking someone's word is not good
Mhm.
enough. So I had gone and gotten the tattoo. It was a chill experience, but the how it healed and everything was like terrible. And I would just prefer to be in a shop from now on out, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. It's I mean, it sounds like he is a professional artist that was maybe in a weird kind of setting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you can get some crazy stuff if people aren't careful,
Yeah.
especially bloodborne and things like that, so that is a good unless there's a lot
Yeah.
more scratches popping up and people doing it out of like I mean, it's not like I said, it sounds like he was an actual artist, but you see a
Yeah.
lot more people that have bought a machine off Amazon and now
Yeah.
they're tattooing in their living room. They
Yeah. I later found out that he just kept getting kicked out of every shop he went to, and that's
ah,
why he started working from home, but I found that out way later, and when I was looking at his portfolio online and stuff, I wasn't realizing that there was, like, a lot more redness around all of the tattoos, like, I was thinking, "Oh, that's just normal healing, like, redness and irritation, whatnot." No, that was, like, after the healing process, that was not right
oh.
after the tattoo was taken, so I was like, I will do better research in the future. I will never do this to myself again. And I always try to forewarn people. I know that some people do have like shops set up at home, like
Mhm.
a specific room. This was in his living room. There was an animal running around
Oh,
and stuff like that. So like my thing is like in the future, if you're gonna do something like that, make sure it's like an actual clean studio set aside from everything else.
100%. Yeah, agreed. That's especially with the animal running around, there's definitely
Yeah.
yeah. I do have a handful of more questions I wanna jump into, but I wanted to talk about your Infinity and let you talk about that for a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I own an international clothing line, Inked Vanity Clothing. It's for anybody who has tattoos, loves tattoos, and I have two websites. So if you follow us on Instagram, it's INKED Inked Vanity. I've got some shirts right here. I'm not sure if it's going to be reverse. Oh no, it's not reverse. It's perfect. So Inked Vanity Clothing, and I've got some stickers that I can show you guys as well. That fell, whatever. It's all good. But I've got some stickers and stuff. I use a bunch of different graphic designers and stuff. This is our main logo right here. But we have people literally in 11 different countries wearing the brand, which is a dream come true. I never in a million years would have imagined that. And then people all across the US. And if you go to the Instagram account, in the bio is both websites. So I use third party printing companies right now, and they do everything for me. And then once people place an order, I just automatically make them a brand ambassador as soon as they send me content to post on the Insta and other socials. And then you'll get free stickers like these as a thank you for joining the team, because I like to be really personable with everybody and give them a little bit extra and be like, hey, thank you for supporting my dreams. And then I also want them to be able to tag them across their city and like help it be exposed more. And then you also get a holographic decal for your vehicle that says Inked Vanity on it as well. So people know like you're an ambassador.
Awesome, and I know that you did something cool recently with the fires in California and a fundraiser, and
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we decided to, since we're using the websites, we use Teespring and Bonfire to sell our merch. And on there, there's an ability to do fundraisers. So when I had found out that a lot of animals were being taken to animal hospitals and shelters in that area after the wildfires, I felt terrible for the animals because obviously they have no idea what's going on. And a lot of them were abandoned and stuff like that, even the wildlife. And so I wanted to be able to do something to where we could, even if we made only a tiny bit, I wanted to be able to give anything possible to help towards that just because that's so unfortunate. And I really have a soft place for animals, you know? So,
Mm.
and you were the first sale on that. So I appreciate that. That was really cool.
Nice.
Thank you for supporting that. That's so sweet of you. And yeah, so if anybody else wants to check that out, it's on one of the two websites.
Awesome. Yeah, my kid loves the shirt, so I think I sent you a picture in
Yeah.
a minute. So time
Yeah.
distance
The tie
Geo,
dye
so he
one.
loves it.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
so cool.
awesome. So talked about your worst experiences. What about your best experiences getting tattooed?
Okay, I would honestly say Ink Master was one of my best experiences ever. Like, it was so cool to be able to be flown to New York City, meet a bunch of famous people like Dave Navarro, Chris Nunez, Oliver Peck, and we also got to meet previous season artists as well, all the way from 1 to 4. And that was just like so fascinating to me. And being able to go to somebody's shop who has already been recording on this show and everybody already knows him and you know his work is reputable. Because if you've seen Ink Master, how it works is they usually start off with like 18 artists and then they eliminate people throughout the show. And then there's 3 artists at the very end. My artist was one of those 3 artists. So I got very fortunate that that's who I got assigned with. And it wasn't just some person still trying to prove themselves. He had already made it all the way to the end, which was so cool. But I really liked it because Chris was just really good with me. Like, I feel like it's very important to have an artist that makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel safe, is going to work with you. And if you need a break real quick, he's really notorious for like when I'm like, Chris, I can't take it. I need a break. I need a break. He's like, okay, 1 more minute. 1 more minute. So Chris is like 20 minutes. And he's like, no, 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 you got this. You got this.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I'd really be just knocking it out, but thinking that, oh, it's almost done. It's almost done. But it was a really great experience. You know, I don't think I'll ever get to do something that cool ever again. And it's very memorable. Obviously, it's a really big TV show. So, and it got
Mhm.
me published in Inked magazine after that. And we won top 12 best, or I think it was top 12 best tattoos and no, it was top 20 best tattoos in 12 seasons is what it was, is
That's
what
awesome.
Inked Mag recognized us for. That was really cool.
That's super cool. That sounds like a
Yeah.
really awesome experience.
Yeah, they put my back tattoo in the intro to every episode for season 12 also, which was really cool.
Oh,
And I didn't
nice.
know until like way later. Somebody just randomly was like, no way. It sent me the video. I was like, cool.
Oh, that is made. Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So these days, I mean, you're experienced in the tattoo world. When you are looking for a new artist, like what do you look for? Like how do you find them? Is it word of mouth? Is it Instagram? Like what's your process?
So I definitely say word of mouth and Instagram are my two biggest ones. And I actually have a local guy that I just recently started going to. He did like a Harley Davidson tattoo and a Travis Barker on me, and he is just incredible. He gives me a better deal if I do style of work that he actually prefers doing because he's out in the country. So he has a lot of rednecks coming in wanting like, deer antlers and stuff like
Mm,
that. And that's not his forte. So like when I come in and want something like gothy or hardcore, he's all like, "Oh, let's hammer this out." He's smooth, he's light-handed. The shop is clean, his portfolio is awesome. My biggest thing is atmosphere and making sure that the artist I'm going to is actually skilled in the style that I'm wanting to get. So like a lot of people think that if they want a specific tattoo, they can just go to any tattoo shop and any artist is going to be able to knock it out, but that's just not the reality of it. Some artists are multifaceted when it comes to like different styles and stuff, but a lot of artists are like just traditional, just old school, just realism, or just like the patchwork style. And so it's very important to make sure that you know what you're wanting and if that artist or any artist in that shop is able to master what you're trying to get done. Because if you want a realism tattoo, then you want to go to somebody like Chris Blinston, because he specializes in color and black and gray realism. But if you want old school, then you should go to an artist that, specializes in old school work. So I'm really big on atmosphere, cleanliness, a solid portfolio, feeling welcomed because there are some artists out there that they won't really socialize with you. They'll just get you in and get you out. And I like to create a relationship so that I want to keep going back. Like Chris Blinston, he's done not just my 35-hour back tattoo, but he did this really awesome alligator on me
That is cool.
which is hard to see because of the lighting. And then he did a Zayo tattoo. He did these flowers. And then it's hard to see, but he did Beetlejuice on me, Wednesday Addams, and I have a Frankenstein and Frankenstein's Bride on my thigh. So he has like knocked those out. Those are tattoos that most people would go for multiple sessions, but he can do those all in like under 4 hours, one session.
Damn.
And Chris is a lot more heavy handed, but he gets it done. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I don't have to travel back down and whatnot to get stuff worked on. He just gets it done. And I love that. So just know, are you going to be able to sit for a long time, or do you prefer an artist who's skilled and can get it done faster? All that jazz, because it all makes an impact on what type of experience you're going to have. So I really like atmosphere and style of work.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people that aren't in the tattoo industry or haven't spent a lot of time around it don't understand really the different styles. Like, if you're not in the industry, I mean, nobody says black and gray outside of the tattoo industry. Like, tattoo artists say
Yeah.
it, everybody else is black and white. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we say neo trad and traditional. People outside the
Yeah.
tattoo industry call it American classic. Like, it's a very
Yeah.
different, yeah, just what
Yeah.
it's called. But I have heard from a lot of people that I've talked to who have mimicked something you said, is like taking breaks when it's needed, because there's this
Yeah.
mentality of like who's going to tap out first, but it just makes it a worse experience. I feel, for the artist and for the like every single person I've talked to has been like, I like an artist that will give me a break when I need it and can kind of read
Yeah.
after a couple hours. That seems to
Yeah.
be a huge, huge thing. And I would agree. I had 15 hours done on my ribs in 2 different days, and like it was
Gee.
it was terrible. There was not enough breaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was not fun. I
Yeah,
never
that's
went back.
wild. Yeah, I can
So
imagine. There was a guy on my season actually who, when us 3 canvases showed up to start getting our outlines for our 35-hour back tattoos, one dude got the whole entire outline, said he needed to get something out of his car, and then he just dipped. And then he like left his artist with no canvas, so that he had to bring in a brand new canvas and start from fresh on that person, knowing he only had 35 hours, which is so crazy to me.
that's nuts. Guy
Yeah,
was just
that
like,
was wild.
"Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah, yeah.
What the
And
hell?
my tattoo takes up my whole entire back, side to side, everything, and I don't have any other tattoos that take up my whole entire limb, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it was crazy. There's no air on my back. No
that's
room to breathe.
nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've taken up about 20 minutes of your time. I'll let you go. I massively appreciate it. And again, where can
Yeah.
people find you online?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and I'm on everything. I'm on Lemonade. I'm literally on pretty much everything that you can find. I'm on Threads, everything but Instagram. I would say Instagram and TikTok are my 2 biggest things. I go with Inked Bay or Inked Bay 26 or Terr Lane. And really quick before I go, do you guys want to see the back tattoo?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay, cool. Okay, let me show you. See if it's in frame.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's awesome. They're really
Yeah.
can take up your entire back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was great, and that's the only. I don't really have any other color tattoos besides the gator and the rose and the back tattoo, and everything else is just black and gray. So,
Well, it came out
but
great.
yeah,
I see why
thank
you were,
you.
yeah, got those awards and stuff. That's freaking awesome. Perfect.
Sweet.
Awesome, Tara. I massively appreciate it, and we will talk soon.
Awesome. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.